glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
I just want to start out with a bit of a softball question. So I'd love to hear who you are. Tell us a bit more about the company that you work for, and then your role at the organization.
Sure. My name is Mike Lestina. I am a part of Merrill, which is a part of Bank of America, and we provide financial services to individuals, helping them meet their goals. And my particular group is responsible for helping the financial advisors be more efficient and really responsible for all the technology that they utilize, whether it be their workstation, their mobile apps and their capabilities, how they interact with clients, and of course, how they grow with LinkedIn and Sales Navigator.
Excellent. So definitely about development.
Yes.
The next question I have for you, so as a business leader and you're thinking about being future ready, what are you doing personally to get there?
It sounds simple, but I think that the best way to be prepared for the future is to be keenly aware of the present. And that's not just your present, but the present all around you. And reading books and certainly watching what's happening in the news and the industry and everything else. But in my particular situation, it's about the financial advisors and understanding what their needs are and how I can help them be more efficient and get their job and serve their clients better.
And when you think about then being future ready, like to position your company in that regard, there's ways that you have to balance, right? You have to think about your investments and what is business as usual, and then how to be future focused for projects. So how do you strike that balance?
It's a difficult question, and it's a lot like a decision I had to make not too long ago. I was deciding whether or not I was going to keep my existing gas-powered car or whether I was going to, purchase a new EV, right? Am I going to invest in the new technology, right? And there's a lot of decisions that go into that. I mean, how old is my current car? How much does it cost to maintain my current car? How much would it cost to maintain a new car? The fuel costs, all these other things that go into it, and not the least of which is, can I afford a new car? A lot of people skip that part of the conversation, right? Let's just go buy it. But there's going to be a lot of factors. But I think one of the biggest one is, does it provide significant value over what you're doing right now? And is it worth investing at this time? Mm-hmm. And those questions are going to be different for whoever's making those decisions in the situation that you're in and the problems that you're dealing with, but they have to be answered.
Agreed. So when we think about the industry overall, you're in the financial services industry. What are the biggest challenges that you're facing in that industry, and where do you see AI and Sales Navigator helping you overcome those challenges?
Well, I think there's some perceived challenges, like, will AI replace human advice? What do we need to have a financial advisor for if I can just chat with ChatGPT, right?
Right.
But, it's important to put AI in its context. I mean, AI is a tool. It's a great tool. And we're just beginning to see what that tool has to offer. I've had the privilege in my career of seeing this kind of cycle happen a couple of times in my career. Mm-hmm. When I was in college, IBM had just come out with their IBM PC, and everybody was wondering what it's going to be like to put the power of a computer in the hands of an individual. I mean, that had never been done before. What's that going to mean, I don't think anybody back then would have realized that personal computer could potentially become an iPhone, which is literally 5,000 times more powerful than the most powerful computers that we had back in those days. I mean, nobody would have foreseen that. So we're not going to know necessarily what's going to happen with AI. There's going to be things that are unforeseen. But when the internet, took off in the 90s, everybody was thinking, well, what's going to happen when individuals can trade? Are they won't need a financial advisor anymore. Financial services thing are a thing of the past. People will be doing it on their own. It'll be self-service. Well, obviously that didn't happen because the internet is a tool, just like AI is a tool. And we have yet to see what that tool can really offer us.
Yeah, so we shall see, right?
Yep.
So as you think about Sales Navigator as it relates to driving revenue, because in any business, that's what we're looking to do, mm-hmm. How has the tool helped you to evolve your approach to growth?
So Sales Navigator really is a tool that allows you, at the core of an advisor business is their relationships with people. We talked about AI. AI is never going to sit down and deal with you in a situation where you're facing an illness, with your spouse and how to deal with that. They're not going to put their arm around you, and you're not going to have AI doing that. An advisor is much more about the relationship with an individual more than it is just, providing financial advice. Well, Sales Navigator helps facilitate those relationships. It really, especially at the beginning of a relationship. I'm going to look to find the right people. I'm going to look to get to know them better. I'm going to look to understand what they need, and I'm going to basically reach out to them in a much more friendly way than I would, doing, in the old days of cold calling, where I pick up a list of numbers and start calling people. I just don't see that being a viable means of growing business any longer. I mean, think about it. I'm calling you up in the middle of your day. I'm interrupting you. I'm taking your time. You may not want to give me that time at this time. You may not have that time to give me. I think it's almost rude at this point in time, to grow your business that way.
No, agreed. I'm obviously a supporter of Sales Navigator. The last question I have for you is, when you think about what's the most important skill for sellers, financial advisors these days, what do you think they really need to be focused on to excel?
I know people refer to advisors as salespeople. I don't think it is sales. I think it's much more like the relationship, like I was talking to you, because it's so much more than just selling a product or wares. It's about creating relationships with people that will help them with their lives. I mean, financial advice is about your goals. It's about your family's goals. It's about how you might share that wealth with others. I mean, there's so many things involved in that. That's a relationship. And I think that what I would give, if I were to give financial advisors one piece of advice, it's that growing relationships using a tool such as Sales Navigator, LinkedIn, uses the same skills that you would utilize if you were doing it in person. Think about it. In person, I am going to try to find the right people. I'm going to go to a club or an event where I know the people that are going to be there are going to be potentially clients that I'd be interested in. Mm-hmm. But in Sales Navigator, I'm going to find those people using the criteria of searching with characteristics of my clients, and all that advanced capabilities are there for me to identify the right people. But it's not just about finding people. It's about how you create that relationship. And in person, I'm not going to walk up to you and say, "Hi, I'm Mike Lestina. How can I help you with your retirement?" I'm not going to do that. That's just not how you introduce yourself to somebody. Somehow we get online and we think that's what we have to do. No, you're going to find out what's important to that individual first. You're going to have what's called small talk. And that small talk isn't small to the other individual, because that's what's important to them. And you're going to do that by commenting on their post or reacting to an accomplishment that they've had online or something of that nature. And so you can build that relationship and grow it. And then as you continue that relationship, you introduce your business when the time is right. The point is, you're developing a relationship so that when that individual down the road needs financial advice or needs your services, you're the first person that comes to mind.
So that relationship management, relationship building is really the skill to focus on.
Yep.
Mike, thank you so much for your time today and sharing more about how you're preparing yourself and your organization to be future ready. It's been a pleasure. And thank you all for listening in and chatting with us and hearing more about how to be future ready. Thank you.